The third, New Jersey getting a huge lift from Keith Van Horn. 10 of his 22 points already here in the third quarter.
Remember what we said, he averages about 12 shots per game in the first 4 games. Well, he's got 14 attempts so far. He's done it inside, he's done it outside, and the crowd knows it. As soon as he tees it up, they're yelling already because they know he's pure tonight from the perimeter.
A huge third for Van Horn. He was jabbed a little bit by Byron Scott in April. We talked about how the Nets needed another marquee player besides Jason Kidd or to complement Jason Kidd. Van Horn has always been kind of thought of as that, but Scott has tried to prod to find a way to get the Van Horn to play hard, to play with this kind of aggressiveness every night. And some nights he looks like a special player, and other nights he becomes invisible. He's hit off the mark, but gets his own rebound. Van Horn for 3, and gets the roll. Keith Van Horn feeling it here in the third period. His 5th three-pointer of the game. And a foul against Van Horn, who gets hit with a technical foul. An unlikely reaction from Keith Van Horn.
And foul on number 44, Keith Van Horn. That is his 3rd. He's also on a technical foul.
Let's take a look at the foul.
Reggie's running that little UCLA or rub cut. Van Horn stands in his path to try and pick up the offensive foul. Disagrees with Joe Crawford's call. Joe Crawford disagrees with his reaction.
Most of the time, I hate to see players take technical fouls. But if it's that type of emotion that makes Van Horn that aggressive on the offensive end, I think Byron Scott will take that trade-off.
He's been emotional and aggressive all night long, but again, you get these games, it might come down to just 1 point. And it's a point you're just giving away.
Well, again, it goes back to understanding who's officiating the game, knowing who the officials are, what you can say, what you can't say, how you can react to certain calls.
Shot clock winding down. O'Neal stripped by Martin, and a foul on the way up. And Joe Crawford, and we've talked about this during the playoffs, he's one of the premier officials and has been for many, many years, but he's known as an official who gives a very quick tee. He doesn't listen to a lot before he tees you up.
Kenyon Martin tries to reach in and strip O'Neal of the ball. He turns it right there. From Joe Crawford's angle, he thought it was more arm than ball.
Martin, his 3rd foul. Jermaine O'Neal, 10 points, 5 rebounds. Great balance in scoring from the Pacers. You have Mercer with 14, Miller with 13, Brad Miller and Ron Artest with 12, and now O'Neal with 11. That's terrific balance.
It is, and that's really what the Nets have been known for throughout the year. Tonight, they're getting the scoring primarily from Van Horn, and the Pacers are getting the balance.
And the Pacers perfect from the free throw line, 10 for 10. Game is tied again, just under 5 minutes remaining in the third. Indiana is shooting 57% from the field. O'Neal deflects and comes up with a steal. Again, the Nets do a good job at transition. No emotion about that 3. Brad Miller. And Brad Miller hits another. He's got 14.
You know what I love about that play? Brad Miller had the ball in the post on his unpreferred block. He threw it out, stepped out, set a pick and roll, and got it back and got it more of a shot that plays to his strength.
O'Neal has not gone for Martin States. Jump hook. And a loose ball foul is going to go against Indiana. Jeff Foster complaining. As anytime is smiling as Foster picks up his first 13 fouls. It hasn't been an overly physical game so far, but starting to pick up the slack a little bit in that department. And now foul call again. It's against Brad Miller. That's his 3rd and the 14 foul.
I was almost tempted to say at the beginning of the second half that the first half kind of moved quickly, moved along. There were a lot of stoppages in play. Now all of a sudden we're seeing a lot of whistles here take place. Things are heating up. We have a very close basketball game. I'm not sure if now is the time to suddenly tighten things up so much.
Timeout Patriots. And Kidd goes flying in for the rebound. Here come the Nets. Kittles for 3. And Miller grabs it. That's how to get out of that three-point lane. They almost got called for a violation.
Well, it was the big three by Kittles in game number 3, or else this series would be over already. You'd have Indiana moving on to the next round.
Under 2 minutes to go in this third quarter. O'Neal one-on-one with Kenyon Martin. O'Neal spinning. Tough shot, and he knocks it down.
Jermaine O'Neal.
Almost predetermines what he's going to do, Jermaine O'Neal. He'll get better at that as he matures and gets more playing time and opportunities. But he decides he's going, he pretty much knows what his move is going to be, it seems like.
Martin. Again, the jump hook, that is his go-to move.
I'm going to say it once more. Left driver, left to right spin. You've got to take away what people do best.
Mercer. Nice feed inside to Foster and a foul. Ball against Keith Van Horn. That's 4 on Van Horn.
You have to give Indiana credit because of the hustle play, the attempt at the hustle play in the backcourt by the Nets. Pacers had 5-on-4 advantage. They didn't pull it out and let New Jersey get back on defense. They advanced it at him, took advantage, and now forced against to go to the foul line.
Foster just 1 of 5 from the line in the series. Free throws are going to be used in this one. He's only a 55% free throw shooter for his career. But he's always struggled at the line. That one perfect. I want to remind you, NBA playoffs continue tomorrow night on TNT. Game 5 of the Sixers and the Celtics from the Fleet Center in Boston, followed by Game 5 of the Sonics and the Spurs from San Antonio. Coverage beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern. 2 Game 5s tonight, 2 Game 5s tomorrow.
It's going to be interesting right here. Isaiah Thomas is now going to match up with the smaller unit of New Jersey because of Van Horn's 4 fouls. Jefferson came in. Now they're going to bring in Bender to match up so they can play small.
So Bender comes in for the first time tonight. A minute left here in this third quarter. Jonathan Bender has played sparingly in this series. Foster 1 of 2. Tie game, final minute, third quarter. Deciding game, opening round playoff series. Kittles on the follow. Williams keeps it alive. Both teams battling, and Brad Miller comes away. That's winning the rebounding numbers, 32 to 23. Nice feed to Foster, and a blocking foul called on Aaron Williams, and Foster will go back to the line.
Aaron Williams. That is his first foul.
This play originally was supposed to start out for Reggie Miller. Instead, the ball reversal gets it over to Bender's side of the floor, and then we see Aaron Williams coming over a little bit late, the body contact, and now Foster back to the line.
And it's the first.
And you said the play was originally for Reggie Miller. Kittles, that was the best job I've seen him in the last 2 games, defending him off those single-double screening type actions. He got in good position to start, and then he trailed them off extremely hard.
Well, Foster, a bad free throw shooter, hits 3 of 4 here in the final minute of the third. And Indiana back up by 2. Shot clock and game clock almost identical. Miller almost got a piece of that. Ollie fighting off. Jason Kidd wants to post up. Can't get him the ball. Good defense from Ollie. Jefferson, nice drive. Final seconds. Miller. Foster at the buzzer. Well short. And that will end the third quarter. Keith Van Horn has come alive for the New Jersey Nets. He struggled much of this series, but a huge third quarter and a playoff career high 25. The entire regular season, 82 games, comes down to 12 minutes till the 8 seed upset the 1 seed. Fourth quarter coming up from Jersey after this timeout.
You know, we really didn't have to go there again. I thought I could trick you with the new shirt and tie combo, but you being the fashion police was right on top of that.
Even your brother noticed it, okay? When your brother calls to Miami and says something, you know you're in trouble.
22 calls about the 2-suit comment.
We'll call them Van Gundy issues. Kidd. And Mercer got a piece of it. And Jason Kidd will shoot 2. Mercer's second foul. Pacers already with 3 team fouls, and there's 8:47 remaining in the fourth.
And they should add one more. I like the technical foul at running and distracting from the bench.
Yes, that was, yes, I have to agree with that. That was very good. Big call by Bob Delaney.
I wonder if they have talked about that in the league office, because it happens in many games. I wonder if it's going to now be a regular call, or if this was just Bob Delaney reacting on his own.
Well, Tinsley, who you saw sitting on the bench, he was responsible. He was so demonstrative, you couldn't certainly ignore it the way he came out. But I think you might be right, and I agree 100%. That's something that should be called.
And I would say if that's the case, Jeff, that they have been notified by the league office to look for it, I think it would be a result of that Laker-Portland game, because it was right there, 2 guys jumping up off the bench trying to distract Robert Horry.
Shot clock again, winding down. Artest skips to the Kevin Ollie. Artest not going to get it off this time. Yes, he will. But Harris takes it down. That was very close to the shot clock expiring. 1 point, New Jersey lead here in Game 5. Van Horn has Artest draped all over him. Martin, Kenyon Martin, big shot. He's got 22. As Artest and Van Horn get tangled up.
I love that Bob Delaney didn't do the double foul. It would have been both players, Van Horn and Artest, 5th foul.
Understanding the magnitude of the game, Bob Delaney lets it go. O'Neal and a foul on Aaron Williams. It's only the first team foul against the Nets, and the second on Aaron Williams, and Reggie Miller comes in. Ollie will sit down.
Reggie Miller returns.
Miller hearing the boos as he does in every visiting arena.
I would rather, if I was the coach, to hear no boos for him. He seems to get excited by booing.
Jason Kidd with the steal. Kidd always says his best offense is his defense. Lucius Harris off the mark. So much made of Jason Kidd and his flash. He was All-NBA first team named again, but first team defense as well. Miller throws it away. Excellent switch by the Nets defensively.
They went back to the play that Jeff said that had been successful for them, the pick and roll using Reggie Miller, but they switched out, and Miller had committed in the air, really had nowhere to go with the basketball.
That's why we always say take 2 dribbles off a pick and roll instead of 1.
Keep that funk alive. Keep that funk alive.
Well, it's 1975, and we just be keeping the funk alive there.
Coach Stan Albaugh promised the victory, and it came in the first round against the defending champions, the Philadelphia 76ers. The Nets won 3 games to 2. And as the Czar pointed out, some of the names on that team were Otis Birdsong, Michael Ray Richardson, and one Micah Corn, who is now sitting on the bench with Byron Scott. Interesting enough, asking Jason Kidd and Kerry Kittles, could you name any of the guys on that team? And Jason Kidd said, how about Bernard King? I said, close. He never got Albert. I said, how about a guy in your own gym? They said Eddie Jordan. So not a team that was very popular or well-known. Mike?
Thanks, Steve. Nets coach Byron Scott was a rookie when the Lakers were the Lakers when they won that title. Kenyon Martin was 6 years old when they won that series. Again, the only playoff series the New Jersey Nets have won in the NBA. Oh, a shot from Kidd!
And Mike Fratello was 50.
5-point lead for the Nets. This is the largest lead by either team in the second half.
I think this series right here could be a turning point for Indiana. They need a basket desperately to settle this thing back down, or you may see New Jersey go on a run here.
Foster for 3. Way off the mark. Not the guy, if you're Indiana, you want shooting the 3. He did hit one earlier in the series, and that certainly is not his forte.
Not 4th quarter, 6 to go.
Kidd. not against O'Neal, the foul, but it is against Indiana. I believe they call it on Artest.
Van Horn is elevating, ready to throw it down, and that looks like a great block right there by O'Neal.
But Artest, you saw him push as Van Horn went up in the air. And Keith Van Horn with a chance to add to his game-high 25. Kevin Ollie's back in the game. Foster will sit.
The game has gotten away from Indiana right now. Isaiah Thomas, I think, senses that. He's changed the lineup. He's gone small. Artest is now the 4-man against a very big front line for New Jersey.
Keith Van Horn having the type of game that Byron Scott envisions having on a more consistent basis. 27 points for Van Horn, a 7-point lead. And Martin kicks it out. Shot clock at 14.
It's interesting, that time Jason Kidd gave Reggie Miller only one way to go, and that was out that side. He wasn't going to let him change directions. He put his body up against him, played between Miller and the basket. He said, you're not going either way, you're going one way.
Offensive foul. Jermaine O'Neal on the screen. That's his third.
And that's what happens when your best shooter is trying to get free and his teammates are trying to set better screens. Kidd makes him go one direction. As Kidd tries to slide through, you see O'Neal step up and into him, and that's the foul call on the block.
And the intangibles of Jason Kidd. Nets now with the momentum, but still plenty of time remaining. Over 5.5 to play in the fourth. Kidd, tough shot. Ollie may have gotten a piece of it. Van Horn falls and Kidd right there for the foul. Ron Mercer hit his head and is slow getting up.
Isaiah Thomas said to us before the game, I think the key to this game is us being able to keep Keith Van Horn buttoned up. He said he's like a genie in a bottle. We don't want to let him out tonight. That'll be the key. Sometimes it's the energy that a player supplies. He shoots an air ball, and you say, well, he's not really having a good game, but then who comes up with it and lays it in? But Jason Kidd. Those are the small things that he can do to help his team win games.
And we said, who was going to get in the lockdown mentality first? New Jersey has 2 points in over 6 minutes for Indiana in the fourth quarter.
They haven't scored a point in 4.5 minutes. And the Nets defense have forced 6 fourth-quarter turnovers by Indiana. Nets haven't turned it over in the period. Artest, hard drive to the basket. On Artest with a very big bucket.
One of the few times that we've seen Indiana try to put pressure and go at Van Horn, who's had such a huge game. Maybe they should have gone at him 3 or 4 times in a row so they could put him on the bench with fouls.
14th for Artest, and finally Indiana gets on the board. Williams to Van Horn, and a foul. Ron Artest will be done. Artest, another strong game, 14 points, 5 boards, and 4 assists, but he's fouled out. The New York native enjoying playing near his home, but he's done for the evening, and Keith Van Horn with 27 points will shoot 2. Crozier will replace Artest. Van Horn badly misses on the first. You see him deciding games, tied at half and after the third, and that was the case tonight. 3 times. You see who emerges victorious in this one. Van Horn misses 2 free throws. Free throws going to be so big down the stretch. He's had a marvelous game. One of his rare mistakes tonight. O'Neal and Martin. Kittles looking to help. Ollie gets inside and blocked by Kerry Kittles. Jermaine O'Neal not even close, and Van Horn the rebound.
There's still plenty of time. 6 seconds left when he shot that ball.
Kidd didn't have the numbers, so he brings it back out. The #1 seed having to go the distance here in the first round against Indiana. Van Horn splits it up. Aaron Williams the rebound. Brad Miller couldn't get a grab on it. Martin had to put it up with the shot clock winding down. And here come the Pacers. Under 4 to play. 7-point New Jersey lead. Miller for 3. Puts it in. Reggie Miller again.
Again, in transition, instead of putting his head all the way under the rim to receive the pin down, he got it very high, which opened up the three-point shot.
The first points of the 4th quarter for Reggie Miller. But he still has 3:45 to try some more heroics. The number 8 seed, the Pacers trying for the upset, hanging in there.
A major factor right now. Indiana has already gone over the limit for fouls. So every time they foul New Jersey, they'll be shooting at bonus situation. Jersey only with 1 personal foul here as Jason Kidd hits the jump shot.
Kidd with 8 points here in this 4th quarter. He's found a perfect time to come alive offensively. Crozier steps back. Van Horn got a hand in his face. And Brad Miller with some good hustle.
That was a great range rebound by Brad Miller. Came from all the way on the other side of the floor.
Crozier stepped out of bounds. Another turnover here in the 4th quarter. The 7th for the Pacers in this 4th quarter.
This is the 2nd or 3rd time a player has stepped out of bounds now for Indiana tonight.
Coming up on 3 minutes remaining. Nets clinging to a 6-point lead. Van Horn for 3. Way off from Brad Miller to rebound.
Reverse some rolls that put Kittle out on the...
Pacers still very much alive. Kevin Ollie, hard to the glass, blocked for the foul. Martin got a piece of it, but also a piece of Ollie, and Ollie will shoot 2.
Kittles gets caught anticipating that he's going to throw a pass to his right, Kittles left, and it gives the wide open lane there, coming down. You think maybe that arm went out a little bit to fend off the defensive player, but instead Ollie got the call.
Ollie has now made his last 23 free throws in a row. His last 18 in the regular season, 5 for 5 in this series. Knocks down another. He played briefly with the Nets last season, split it between New Jersey and Philly, and now back as an opponent, hitting 2 clutch free throws. 4-point game, 2.5 to play. Van Horn against Crozier. Too strong, and O'Neal the rebound. Pacers trying to become just the 3rd 8 seed to eliminate the number 1 seed. O'Neal backing in against Martin. Tough shot, won't get the roll. Hard rebound by Crozier, and he's fouled on the way up. Percent from the line during the regular season. But a big miss there. The lead for New Jersey remains 4. Now it's 3 with 2:04 to play. Jason Kidd having a big 4th quarter. Ollie in pursuit. Martin makes his move. Bumped by O'Neal. Feed to Kittles. Aaron Williams wide open. And Brad Miller falls in the rebound. His 13th rebound of the game. Pacers down 3 with 1.5 minutes to play. Miller.
There was a collective sigh right there.
And O'Neal fouled, trying to back in. Jason Kidd was guarding him on a switch. Jermaine O'Neal draws the foul. And for the New Jersey Nets, in New Jersey, Keith Van Horn, spectacular. Reggie Miller looming. A game that's had 13 ties and 18 lead changes.
On that last play, the fear of Miller's 3 caused the Nets to switch out Kenyon Martin to prevent the 3, and it left the point guard guarding a 3rd-team All-NBA player in Jermaine O'Neal. It just shows you the fear teams have for Reggie Miller and his late-game 3-point shooting.
Remember, only 1:20-second timeout remaining for Indiana. When they got in that last huddle, Reggie Miller tried to change it to a 20 and keep the full, but the official said, no, too late.
O'Neal. Kittles goes to double. O'Neal powers in. Hot shot, and it's a 1-point game. A 10-2 run right now for the Indiana Pacers over the last 4 minutes. What was a 9-point lead has been cut to 1. Kidd the jumper. Puts it in. Jason Kidd, another big bucket.
Jason Kidd just answered the challenge. The challenge that they posed to him was, we're going underneath this screen. You have to shoot a jump shot to beat us, and he made it.
And Kidd now with 10 points. There's a three. Miller won't go. Fight for the rebound. Kiddo comes away and gets it out to Kidd.
That is exactly the shot that Reggie Miller has beaten so many people with.
Still plenty of time for the Pacers. Kidd a jumper. Crozier the rebound. Quick outlet. Half minute remaining. And Isaiah Thomas will use his final timeout. Do they have to go for the three now?
No. But all the strategy must have been explained then in this last timeout, because that's it.
Miller coming off the screen. Van Horn switches. Miller tries to get the foul, and he does. Van Horn goes for the fake, and 3 free throws coming up for Reggie. One of the premier free throw shooters in the history of the NBA.
You know when there's a great shooter, you switch on to him. The idea is to stop him from catching the basketball. Here comes Van Horn. There's the switch out. He switches out late. Make him go back door. Two's not going to beat you. But why would you leave your feet in this situation? Go straight up, make him shoot it over the top of you. You got him way back behind the three-point line. What a smart player Reggie Miller is.
The shot fake off the dribble pickup is very difficult to keep your discipline and stay down, especially late in the game. More players should use that move.
Miller 19 of 21 from the line in the series. Van Horn is fouled out. How about the pressure of these free throws for Reggie Miller? He always embraces these type of situations. 2-point game. Make it a 1-point game. Again, the Pacers out of timeouts.
So you got to foul immediately now. They're going to take their timeout. Byron Scott decides whether he wants to take the ball on the baseline or take it up over the half-court line.
Make someone else prove that they're a clutch performer.
Kidd gets it right away, and Kevin Ollie fouls him right away. New Jersey points, 11 of his 22 here in his fourth quarter. 2 clutch free throws from Jason Kidd. 3-point game. Now, do you foul and make sure they don't take a three?
If it gets down below 8, I'm foul. I am going to foul. I'm not letting Reggie Miller get a shot.
Kevin Ollie goes in and misses a 2-pointer. Rebound and a foul. Jefferson grabbed it, and he'll shoot free throws with 5.1 remaining.
If he misses, by the time they get to half court, they must foul. They cannot risk it.
Misses both. O'Neal the rebound. Kevin Ollie brings it up. Throws it across. Miller for 3. He backed it in! He backed it in! And the game is tied! We're going to overtime!
You have to foul in that situation.
Now the officials are concurring. Bob Delaney signaled yes. Joe Crawford now saying, with the other official checking it, and they say yes, it beat the buzzer. And Reggie Miller does it again.
Kevin Ollie looked for no one other than his teammate, Reggie Miller.
Let's take a listen. And again, a key, listen for the buzzer.
On the defensive rotation is Jason Kidd, who just gets his feet planted outside the restricted area.
Huge defensive play from Jason Kidd. Nets down 2 with the ball.
Understanding that this is it. You're going home or you're going to go on to the next round. All those small things show up in these kinds of situations.
Martin again with that quick shot, and he gets the roll. We're tied again. 24 for Kenyon Martin. The crowd's been on its feet most of the overtime. Miller for 3. Bang! Reggie Miller again. And the Pacers up by 3 with 1.5 minutes remaining.
He wants the ball right now. You can see it. He's clapping for the ball.
29 for Reggie Miller. More playoff heroics. Kidd answers right back.
And Jermaine O'Neal just missed that one. He came out from behind the screen to try and help Ollie, just short of getting a piece of that shot.
A 1-point Indiana lead.
Here's the switch out to prevent Miller's catch and shoot.
Williams knocks it away. Harris double teams. Ron Mercer hits some big shots and hits another. What a performance from Mercer off the bench with 18.
It was a nice pass out of the double team that time by Jermaine O'Neal. He wanted to hit Miller. Miller was cut off. He looked diagonally across and got Mercer.
Kidd with the left hand. Oh, what a play from Jason Kidd.
Kid's got to stay attached.
Kevin Ollie on the pull-up. Way short, and Kenyon Martin able to grab it, and a foul on Brad Miller, whose momentum pushed him in. For the Pacers, only their third team foul, so no penalty yet. Nets ball with 29.9 remaining.
Now, this is a shot Reggie Miller is used to making. This floater, when you get up in the air and you're kind of like off balance, Miller's made 100 of those things, but for Ollie, that's not the norm.
Timeout. Nets
Next couple big shots for you is Jason Kidd. You got to get the ball in his hands, and he will make something happen. He may create a shot for himself. He just might create a shot for a teammate that winds up putting him ahead.
And they changed the matchup. They put Mercer in.
Martin with the slam on the Kidd penetration. Nets back by 1 with 26.2 remaining.
Notice how quick he went. That was in case they did not score that time. You get a good shot. They had plenty of time left. We said, get the ball in his hands. He'll create a shot for himself or create a shot for a teammate. He goes quickly, gets in the seam, drops it off, and Martin finishes.
The choicest hops, rice, and barley malt give Budweiser a crisp, clean, refreshing taste that makes it the king of beers.
We weren't technically a garage band since we practiced in a barn. We still make a lot of noise, only now it's on the phone.
Introducing AT&T Unlimited.
Luckily, I pay one flat rate and we talk till we're hoarse.
$19.95 a month for unlimited long-distance calls to any AT&T residential long-distance customer. Call all you want, whenever you want, and never watch the clock.
I love them, but I'm not going to pay a lot to listen to them. Nobody ever did.
Call 1-800-REACH-OUT to enroll.
It's the Nets' turn to take the lead. 1 point advantage, 26.2 remaining, so 2.2 difference between game clock and shot clock. You see the timeout situation. Nets with a foul to give.
Understanding that we have 26 seconds remaining in the game, Indiana has a full 24. You can get the ball inbounds now, get your people situated, and you have plenty of time to run screens to get the guy that you want to get the open shot. That's Reggie Miller. But my second choice right now is Ron Mercer. If they gang up on him, look for the next pass to go to Mercer for the open shot.
And sometimes it's not the first shot that beats you, it's the second shot. So they've got to do a great job in blocking out. They got the switch they want.
O'Neal against Kidd, and a foul. They had the foul to give. So the Pacers will inbound with 18.8 seconds remaining, still trailing by 1.
Now, if you run the same exact play, are you going to get the same switch this time?
I wouldn't. It's got to be Jason Kidd. You are a great defender. You stay attached. One possession, one stop, and you're advancing.
And that's one of the reasons they're the #1 seed is because they've been able to make stops.
They've got O'Neal and Miller on the same side of the floor. That's where they're going to play from.
They go back to O'Neal. Martin right up on him. O'Neal spinning, stolen by Kenyon Martin. And then the foul on Jermaine O'Neal. Kenyon Martin with a terrific defensive play. And he'll shoot with 8.2 remaining. O'Neal is fouled out.
Martin becomes the aggressor even though he's on defense right now. He's not going to let Jermaine O'Neal take him. Once he feels the ball is brought down low, he's got those hands in there. He wants to get a deflection before O'Neal can run that drop step spin move into the middle of the lane.
Now Martin is not a great free throw shooter. In the series he's 71%. During the season just 68%. Here tonight as you see 2 for 3.
Again, we could be in the same situation. Indiana has still a timeout. But if they make both and they decide not to take it on the push up the floor, New Jersey has to foul to prevent the 3.
That, of course, if Martin hits them both and misses the first, it's still a 1-point game. Huge free throws.
Remember that huge deflection in the Philly game when Derek Coleman got his hand on the missed shot, tipped it back out again.
Martin hits the second, and Isaiah Thomas will use his final timeout.
On a gas grill.
You couldn't get anybody out here to cook with gas.
Between gas and charcoal, there is a difference. You can taste it. It's like night and day.
So what's the charcoal of choice?
Kingsford.
Why?
The flavor alone.
Kingsford is a charcoal to use.
Yeah?
It's a charcoal to use.
How come?
the taste. Definitely the taste.
Nothing beats Kingsford. That is a fact. I guarantee it.
Kingsford, because taste is everything.
Give me Kingsford. You can keep the gas.
No, thanks a lot.
Present from me to you.
8.2 seconds remaining. Pacers down 2 with the ball, but they're out of timeouts. Now, do you try and hit the three-pointer and go for the win, or just get a good shot and look for double overtime?
Well, first of all, you understand that both teams are playing with key guys on the bench right now. Depending on who comes out on the floor, you know that Reggie Miller is the primary three-point threat. Austin Crozier can hit a 3, and Ron Mercer capable of hitting a 3. But just the fact that they're a threat may open up that 2-point shot for them. They just got to tie and get to the next overtime period. If the 3 is open, pull the trigger and shoot it and run off the floor when it goes in.
And they can't go for Miller's pump fake, which will get them on the line. They've got to stay down if they switch out.
No fouls to give. Miller gets past Kittles. Miller inside with the slam. Reggie Miller ties it with 3.1 remaining. The Nets have a 20 left.
And if I was guarding the inbounder, I am not letting that ball get into Kidd easily.
So you play on the top of the inbound on his right hand and force him to throw it to the corner. You tell him, he says they seem to want to bring Kidd out to the top all the time.
Neither team with timeouts remaining. And both teams in the penalty. Martin to Kidd. Kidd makes his drive, puts it up. No good. Double overtime.
With O'Neal fouling out, it takes away your #1 low post option, but also Crozier now coming in the game has to guard Martin and/or Williams.
Kidd has been just superb from the fourth quarter on. He struggled a good part of the game, but has made all the big plays. Kenyon Martin. Martin on the pull-up. Harris keeps it alive. Fight for the rebound. Still lost. And Crozier comes away.
As long as Crozier keeps fighting Martin that way and makes him come out 10, 12 feet off the low block area, you can live with that.
Miller hit the big 3 at the end of regulation that may have come after the buzzer, but it sent it into the first overtime. Mercer, quick shot. Rebound knocked loose. Last touch by Kidd. Pacer ball.
Again, they switched the initial pick and roll, but it left them vulnerable on the second shot. Brad Miller, size advantage over Kittles. Kidd comes over the top. It deflects off his hand, out of bounds.
Same scenario in the overtime on the 4th team foul. Plus you get 3 more timeouts. Mercer trying to take Kittles off the screen. Martin switches. Crozier has kills on him. Crozier backs in. Draws some contact. Kevin Allen hesitant to shoot at first. Crowd wanted to travel, but Harris gets the rebound.
It's interesting.
Here comes Kittles. Draws a foul and 1. Bad foul for Mercer. And Kittles with a chance for a 3-point blow overtime. Miller, the 3. Won't go. Martin the rebound. Still 3.5 to go in the second overtime.
They want to run 4 corners right now and run the clock out. That's it. Rest of the game.
Side pick and roll going under still.
Martin calling for it against Crozier. And a foul on Crozier. Pacers with their second team foul. Crozier now has 5.
Remember what we said. Crozier that time let it get it down low with his back to the basket, and then he's a problem for Austin Crozier. He's got to get on top of him, front him, force him to step out off the block.
Shot clock reset to 14 as they inbound. Jason Kidd deflected by Miller. Ollie trying to go for the steal. Kidd knocks it down.
That's the same shot that could have won it for him at the end of the overtime.
Instead, it gives him a 5-point lead in the second overtime. Under 3 minutes to play. Crozier fakes. Martin stays in front of him. Mercer, tough ball away shot. Ron Mercer offensively, a superb game. He now has 20 points. 3-point New Jersey lead. Kidd spinning. Kicked by Miller. Shot clock will remain at 14. 2:32 to go in the game. Or perhaps at least in the second overtime. Columbus. That's after a struggle to start. He only had 11 points after 3 quarters. Shot clock winding down. Martin makes his move. Tough shot. And rebound, Brad Miller. Miller with 16
Go in
boards.
transition. Push the ball. That's the best chance you have to get a good shot.
Mercer. Tough shot. Harris may have gotten a piece of it. And Lucius Harris comes up with a loose ball.
Huge defensive play right there. Ron Mercer looked like he had a short two.
2 minutes to go in the second overtime. Kidd steps back. And Miller another rebound. They needed him again with Artest and Jermaine O'Neal having fouled out. Brad Miller's done a superb job on the boards.
There's extreme fatigue on both sides right now. They've got to find ways to make shots.
You're talking about 54 minutes for Martin and 50 minutes for Kidd.
Kidd knocks it away, and a foul on Austin Crozier. And Crozier is fouled out. Kidd has played the entire second half in overtime. Down with a minute and a half remaining. Nets leading by 3. The #1 seed. Mercer got a piece of it. Brad Miller touched it last as he goes crashing into some cameramen along the baseline.
We've seen how important an entry pass can be. Sometimes with the fatigue setting in all these minutes, we saw Reggie Miller throw a bad entry pass at the one end that Kidd stole, and that one right there, almost a bad entry pass by Harris.
Shot clock at 10. Kidd looking to make his move. Shot clock winding down. Kidd has to put it up. Oh, he puts it in! Ollie right in his face! And the Nets back up by 5. 31 for Jason Kidd. You look at his face, he looks exhausted. He is. A minute remaining in the second OT. Offensive foul. Another illegal screen. This one, Jeff Foster.
The problem that's happening is Kevin Ollie is not going from side to side so that he has a good look at the passing angle to Miller. Jason Kidd is going over the top of all these screens. That's why he's called right here. As he goes over, there's the left hip into him, and he goes down on the ground. You've got to get in a slot to be able to make that pass if your offensive guy is going to fade to the baseline.
A timeout called with 56.5 seconds remaining in the second overtime. Jason Kidd and the Nets a 5-point lead as they look to advance to the second round. The overtime in fourth quarter. He's cramping up according to D. Lynham, and Timmy Walsh, the trainer, trying to help him out.
Took a shot there as he went over the top of that from the left hip. Hit him in that leg area, which is so vulnerable to be injured or bruised, but I don't think with 56 seconds remaining, it's going to keep him out of the game.
We saw the 51 minutes for Kidd. He's played the entire second half in overtime. And wisely taking time off the clock as the MVP chants continue. Kidd finding Martin. Martin, tough shot. No, offensive foul. He lowered the right shoulder. And Martin called for the foul. That's the first Nets turnover in 26 minutes. They've really taken care of the basketball.
You can see Martin, as he gets the one-step advantage now, takes the right shoulder and moves in to the defensive player. Offensive foul.
Kevin Ollie with 35 seconds remaining. Pacers down by 5. Miller fighting over screens. Harris bumped him. Brad Miller. Reggie for 3. And Kenyon Martin the rebound. They foul him immediately with 20 seconds remaining. Kenyon Martin will shoot 2 free throws with the Nets leading by 5.1 seconds remaining. Pacers still have a couple of timeouts, but they're in a big hole right now. Martin with 2 clutch free throws.
Concentration, quick 3. Couldn't get the ball in, another quick 3, and then the untold story is we got fouled because Sam Mitchell thought they were still down, and we missed 2 free throws. Then we fouled Miller, and he made the free throws.
Nets, by the way, have a foul to give. And they still have 1 timeout left. Kevin Ollie drives, Williams all over him, taking a lot of time. He stepped out of bounds, and that may do it. 7-point lead, 15.2 remaining. And the Indiana Pacers attempt at the huge upset as Mercer fouls. They come to an end. Lucius Harris.
Series without Jamal Master in their leading scorer. Tremendous job by Charlotte.
And having to start that series with Jamal McGlure suspended.
Final seconds, a 9-point lead. Reggie Miller's going to put up another three. Can't connect. Johnson a rebound. And the New Jersey Nets dream season will continue.
Like Jimmy Walsh, the trainer, said from New Jersey, we got this one tonight. He knew it all along. Big, big.
Indiana Pacers played a great series. They took them to the limit and nearly pulled off a second upset. 3.4 seconds remaining. Jason Kidd, the leader down the stretch. The big plays at crunch time. 31 points, 7 assists, and 8 rebounds. They needed double overtime to do it, but the #1 seed advances to the second round. Some nice displays of sportsmanship as this hard-fought series comes to an end. That first playoff series, they defeated defending champion 76ers in the first round, lost in the second round to Milwaukee. This time, these current Nets will play the Charlotte Hornets in the second round. Jason Kidd, a spectacular performance, and he's with Gene Lynam.
Yes, he is. He's getting a lot of congratulations from a lot of people, including Reggie Miller. Jason, I know you're exhausted. The hopes of an entire franchise rested on your shoulders in a double overtime elimination game. I don't know, just what went through your mind time and again as this one seemed like it might slip away?
Well, Reggie's, you know, anytime Reggie is involved, he's always going to make the big shot. And I was like, man, I hope we're not like the Knicks, because he always comes back to bite them. But, you know, it was a great game on both teams. Nobody gave up. We just fought, and we got lucky and won tonight.
I know yesterday that you had talked to your teammates and challenged yourself as well to come out with a different kind of intensity than Game 4. How proud to see the Keith Van Horns, the Kenyons, and all of them rise to that occasion.
They were the ones who carried us today. Kenyon and Keith came out huge tonight and showed the world that he can play at a high level. And we're going to need him throughout the series to help us advance. And, you know, we got a tough opponent coming in Charlotte. They're playing extremely well, so we got to get ready for them.